So hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video we are going to discuss about whether you should do MBA in India or MBA in abroad countries like USA, UK, Canada, etc. and all other countries. And in this video we are also going to discuss the pros as well as the cons of doing MBA in India as well as MBA abroad. Now do take a note that I am not against MBA in India or MBA abroad. I will be just telling the facts of these two options. Now if you are new to this channel, then do subscribe below, as it really helps my channel to grow and to make more content like this. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. So the first thing that you have to consider while doing MBA in India or MBA abroad is that first thing you have to choose which MBA field you have to do. There are many MBA fields available right now. Like in India, for example, you can do MBA in HR, finance, marketing and sales, as well as general management. And there are many new courses inside MBA that have become available nowadays. Like it is not that there are only 4 to 5 options in MBA, there are many and you can explore it, and then you have to make a decision on which MBA course you have to go on and whether that particular course is available in that country or not. So that will be your first step in choosing your MBA program. Now if you are confused as to what MBA you should go for, then for that people I would say general MBA makes a lot of sense. In general MBA what they do is that in first year they will cover all the subjects which are common to all the MBA backgrounds like finance, HR and marketing, and in second year you have to choose based on which subjects you like. So that in my opinion is the good MBA option if you don't know which MBA course you want to go for. So this is the first step that you need to do while selecting an MBA. Now let's come to our main point as to whether you should do MBA in India or it is better to do MBA abroad. So first we are going to consider MBA in India and what are its pros and cons. So let's start with MBA in India and its pros. So first advantage of doing MBA in India is that it would be cheap. Like it would cost an average of around 20 to 40 lakhs to do MBA in India. And the second pro is that you will be able to meet your family every once and then, like in weekends or holidays. So if you are family kind of person, then doing MBA in India is that India is a developing country, so the job opportunities will increase further in time. I know the recent scenario of job opportunities in India, but I feel that in the future the job opportunities in India will definitely improve with time, though they will be not as good as that of other countries. But if you want to live in India, you can easily get a very good high paying job if you get into good college and if you have that particular skill. Now don't go for MBAs like finance or counseling because they have higher LPA. Don't do that mistake at all. Go for the MBA course which you like and will you prefer to do. So that is the one thing to consider. Now the next thing is that if you are not sure whether to do an MBA in India or MBA abroad, even though if you do MBA in India from good colleges like top IIMs, then there is a probability that you will get a job in foreign countries. It is not guaranteed, but many IIMs do place their students in abroad countries, but it will not be guaranteed that you will go into foreign countries. So if you want a guarantee, then do an MBA in abroad only. Now let's come over to the cons of doing MBA in India. And the first con is the competitive exam that you have to give if you have to go into Indian MBA colleges. So for that you need to give CAT exam, and if I frankly tell you, the competition in CAT exam is very high and it is increasing day by day. So if you want to get into really good colleges like IIM, Ahmedabad, Lucknow, Calcutta, etc., then you have to be very competitive and you have to score above 98 percentile to get into that kind of colleges. So that is the one thing to note, that you have to do a lot of practice and hard work to get into good college. And one pro which I forgot to tell you in doing MBA in India is that You do not need any job experience if you want to get into good MBA college. So that is the one thing to consider if you want to do MBA in India. Like if you have completed engineering, let's say in 2024, then you can immediately get into good MBA college in 2025. You do not need any job experience. It is better to have job experience, but it is not compulsory. In foreign countries like US, Australia, it is compulsory to have job experience of around 3 to 5 years. So that is a one pro of doing MBA in India. Now let's continue with our cons. So the second con of doing MBA in India is the exposure. You will be exposed only to all Indian students. Like the students which come to IIMs and other good colleges are Indian students. So the exposure will be limited for you. That is the one thing to consider. Many of the people are in the opinion that practical knowledge in foreign countries is much better than in India. I don't know what is the scenario, but this is what most of the people say. So I'm just telling it to you. And the third con is that you will get a slightly lower package as compared to if you do an MBA abroad. So that is also one thing to consider. Now let's move on to if you are interested in doing MBA abroad. So let's start with pros of doing MBA abroad. The first pro is that you can get into really good colleges if you have that particular score. So if you want to do MBA abroad, for that you have to give tests like GMAT, IELTS or TOEFL. So any of these two exams you have to give, like IELTS or TOEFL, any one of those. And you also need a very good job experience, like 3 to 5 years, as I told. So if you have cleared these exams with very good marks, then you can actually get into business schools such as Harvard, Oxford, Stanford or London business schools. These are very good top B schools across the world, and the experience which you will get in these colleges will be just on another level. Like it would be better than the top IIMs in India. So that is the one thing to consider. And the second advantage of doing MBA abroad is the kind of exposure that you will get while pursuing these courses. So let's say in Harvard, for example, there will not be only the American students which will be studying there. There will be students from Europe, China, Africa, India and all other countries. So if you actually work with all these kinds of people and different culture, you actually become a very different person only after doing an MBA. So that is the second most important advantage of doing an MBA abroad. And the third advantage is that you will be able to explore new culture and a new life. Like if you stay in India, you have seen India, how it looks like and what are the various places that you visit. But if you go in say such as US or Europe, the surroundings will be very different there and you will either enjoy it or you will not like it. But I personally do feel that you will really enjoy doing MBA in foreign countries, as the environment there frankly is much better. Now I do not oppose Indian culture or surroundings. I'm just telling you what I feel. It might be wrong, so do not come in saying that I am against India or that kind of stuff. I do like Indian MBA programs also, Indian colleges also, but I'm just clearing the facts out for you. And the fourth advantage is that there is less competition compared to the CAT exam. So GMAT exam has comparatively less number of students giving the exam, whereas compared to CAT, and you can give GMAT or GRE at an interval of 21 days. So if let's suppose your score is not that well, so you can book the test after 21 days also, and you can give this test throughout the year compared to CAT, which you can give only once a year. So that is a big advantage if you don't want to waste your year. So that were all the pros of doing an MBA abroad. Now let's come over to the cons of doing MBA abroad. So the first con is obviously the cost. So doing an MBA in abroad can cost you around 50 to 70 lakhs depending upon the college that you go in and the scholarship if you get or not. Getting a scholarship in abroad colleges is really difficult. You have to score a lot in these competitive exams and you have to prepare your resume very well. That is the one thing to consider. And the second is the living cost. So living cost is around 8 to 12 lakhs per year, and it might change depending upon your lifestyle choices. So that is the second thing. Overall, the cost of doing an MBA abroad will of course be higher as compared to doing an MBA in India, but the return over investment will be also higher in abroad countries compared to India. So that is also one thing to note, and I feel that they will balance each other out over a period of time. There might be slight difference between the two, but I feel both of them will be similar. And the second con is that you have to stay away from your family for a very long period of time. Like if you go to US for studying MBA, then you cannot come over to India for the weekends. It would be costly also, and it would be time consuming. So that is also another thing to consider. That, like, do go for MBA abroad if you are really sure. If you are really sure that you will not feel a need to come back to India the next day. So that is another thing to consider. And the third con or pro depends upon you. You have to be very good at your vocabulary skills as well as English speaking. So communication skills should also be good. You should have a good resume, good statement of purpose, as well as fifth thing which I told you, job experience. So overall, I would say getting into an MBA college is much easier compared to getting into top abroad colleges like Harvard or Stanford. That is one thing to consider. Second is it depends upon you whether you want to really do MBA in India or abroad. So do take time and really think of it. It is not a easy decision to make. So that was regarding the pros and cons of doing MBA in India and abroad. And that was it for this video, guys. If you want some preparation tips or how should you study for this competitive exams like CAT, GRE, GMAT or TOEFL, then do let me know in the comment section below. I will also try to make video on that also. And if you're planning to do MBA or MS abroad, then which are the good colleges that you should go for that? If you want that information also, you can let me know in the comment section below. I will try to make a video on that also. So that's it for the video, guys, and do consider subscribing this channel as it helps me a lot to make this content available to you. And thank you for watching.